Okay, now it's recording. Okay, today we're going to work with the verbs we studied last class: prevent, check, avoid, etc., but combined in collocations. Okay, so we have adverb verb collocations with the verbs avoid, check, supervise, protect, control, and prevent. So we have avoid at all costs, check something carefully, closely supervise, heavily protect, narrowly avoid, properly protect, strictly control, and successfully prevent. Okay. Avoid something or someone at all costs and check something or someone carefully. Okay. Those are the collocations that you have to separate and collect the direct object here. Okay. Where you have to put the direct object. Wait. Smaller. Okay, smaller here. And let's change into red. Okay, so you put the direct object in here. Okay, it's the only ones. For example, people who are drunk must avoid driving at all costs. People who are drunk must avoid driving at all costs. Okay, or before you hand in a test, you must check your test carefully. You must check it carefully. Okay, so in the case of the expressions avoid at all costs and check something or someone carefully, you have the direct object in between the verb and the adverb. Okay, check carefully, avoid at all costs. Is there an expression there that you don't remember, that you don't get?
No, it's okay.
It's okay. So let's use them here. Ban the bear from attacking them by making a lot of noise. Give me a second, please, because otherwise I'm going to get scolded by my boss. I always forget the pic or put the pic late.
The picture.
Yes, a picture of the class.
Ah, the picture.
Okay, so check number one and tell me.
Okay, for number one, I think is successfully prevent the bird from attacking them by making a lot of noise.
Okay. Okay, successfully pretend. In this case, past tense. Ben successfully prevented the bird from attacking them by
Successfully
making a lot of
prevented.
noise.
Prevented.
Number two, Juan, an accident when a dog ran in front of his car.
One, narrowly avoided
Narrowly avoided an accident when a dog ran in front of his car. Good. The camp is with a high fence and an alarm to prevent dangerous animals from getting in.
the count is heavily protected.
Heavily protected with a high fence and an alarm to prevent dangerous animals from getting in. The number of visitors to the game reserve is to avoid upsetting the animals.
Mm, and strictly controlled.
Strictly controlled. Strictly controlled. To avoid upsetting the animals. Tourists visiting the wildlife park needed to make sure they don't go near the wild animals.
Closely supervised.
Okay. Closely supervised. When it rains heavily, you should crossing the river as the current can be very strong. Avoid at all costs or check carefully.
You have to avoid
Avoid
crossing the river
at
all
all
costs.
costs. As the current can be very strong, you need to
You need to
check
your route carefully.
check your road carefully.
Oh.
On the map before you start your journey, as you could easily get lost. And finally, rhinos are endangered species and need to be by game wardens. Need to be
Properly protected.
properly protected. Properly protected by game wardens. In this case, the word wardens mean guardians. Okay. So questions about the collocations with adverb verb. Avoid at all costs, check carefully, closely, supervise, heavily, protect, narrowly, avoid, properly, protect, strictly, control, and successfully prevent. No problem?
Can see. Okay. I can see the number
8, properly protected.
Okay. And now,
Of course, you can exchange. You can say the camp is properly protected or need to be heavily protected. 3 and 8 can be interchanged.
3 and 8.
Yes. Likewise, 4 and 5. The number of visitors is closely supervised or strictly controlled, or tourists visit the wildlife park need to be strictly controlled. Okay. In the case of 4 and 5, you can also exchange the verbs. Okay, because they are almost synonyms. Se debe supervisar a los visitantes o se debe controlar a los visitantes. Podemos supervisar el número de visitantes o controlar el número de visitantes. So in that case, you can interchange the verbs.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to page 179. The third conditional. Here it is. Okay, let's go to the third conditional. You remember the third conditional? Third conditional is
True.
always an unreal past tense. Okay, when we talk about the third conditional, we talk about an unreal action or event in the past. Differently from the zero conditional that is a fact, the first conditional that is possible, the second conditional that is barely possible, the third conditional talks about unreal actions or events in the past. Okay? That's what differentiates the third conditional from the first and the second, because in the first, it can be possible. In the second, it might be possible. But in the third, we're talking about something that didn't happen at all. Okay? Of course, the consequences or results indicated in the main clause are also imaginary. Okay? Do you remember what is the structure of the third conditional? Do you remember the structure?
Mhm. So you would present perfect.
Yes.
Past perfect.
In past perfect. Main clause using
Would.
perfect modals. Perfect modal verbs. If in past perfect, main clause using perfect modals. Do you remember the perfect modals?
Mhm. Would. No.
Would have,
Would.
could have, should have, might have, must have. They are used abbreviated when speaking. So we talk about would have, no would have, but would have. We have could have. We have should have. Should have. We have might have. Might have. And we have would have. Okay, if I want to make it negative, I make negative the moral. So wouldn't have, couldn't have, shouldn't have, mightn't, might not have, and mustn't have. And they indicate the same as the modal, but in past tense. Okay? Indicate the past tense of each modal. So if we talk about a possibility in the past, we use might have. Did you see Tom at the party? I don't know, but he might have been there. It was a possibility that he was there. Did Peter know there was a meeting today? Yes, I told him. He would have remembered that. He would have remembered that.
Yeah.
You dressing white for the camping. Your clothes are going to get dirty. Yes, I should have thought about it. Not to wear white clothes for a picnic. Did you call Maria for the special class? Oh my God, I forgot it. I would have called her yesterday, but I didn't do it. So the perfect modals, even they are called perfect modals, indicate the past tense of the meaning for each modal. For each modal. Okay, so should have, advice, duty in the past, would have, possibility in the past, could have, possibility in the past, should have, advice in the past, might have, possibility in the past, would have, obligation in the past. Okay, so when we have the third conditional, we have a perfect modal in the main clause. Okay, usually would have. Grammatically, they rather use would have instead.
Excuse me, Miss Alejandro, 1 minute.
Yeah, don't worry.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Don't worry.
It's an unknown number, but it's not the from other countries. A local number. It starts with 02. This is home. A home number.
Mm. I have gotten calls from phone numbers from strange places. Okay, you know, like I get a phone call from someone in Russia
Oh, so
or something like that. I don't know what is that about.
I learned something similar, but my cell phone was cloned at the beginning of this year.
Mm, that's
Yeah,
awful.
and the call, I know the message were coming from Afghanistan, I think.
Yeah, I have got in my Ecuadorian, not in my Venezuelan number. In my when I had my Venezuelan number, it was phone calls from other numbers with names of people like, hola Alejandra, es María. Por favor, este es mi nuevo número. So they were not the real Maria, but they used names like María, Ana, Carlos, common names in Venezuela, José Antonio, Juan José. And some innocent people say, okay, Maria, tranquila, thinking that was a Maria he or she knew. And not to be unpolite, you know, que María será, y que María eres tú, ay, pero no te acuerdas, soy María fulanita, bla, 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 bla. Okay? So, I remember that once they asked me, hola, es Ana. Este es mi nuevo número, por favor, anótalo. And ask her, Ana María Flores? Sí, sí, Ana María Flores. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Y yo, muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? Ana María Flores is the name of my deceased grandmother. So I let it go. So they says, mira, after like 2 or 3 days, ¿cómo estás? ¿Y cómo está la familia? Muy bien. ¿Y la tuya? Bien. ¿Cómo está tu hijo menor? ¿Cuál es que es su nombre? Víctor. Sí, Víctor. Víctor is my uncle. Okay. So after like 2 days, I listen, I need a favor from you. I need to make a sell transaction. That is what they want. And I need you to lend me $100 because I don't have Cele. I will transfer that by Western Union. That's so. So when they put the trap, la trampa, and I answer her, okay, Ana María, tú necesitas que yo te facilite $200 por una transferencia de Celes. Sí, sí, por favor, amiga. Si no fuera porque somos tan buenas amigas, yo no te lo pediría. Y le dije, concha abuela, yo no sabía que en el cielo había Cele y Western Union, porque si mal no recuerdo, tú te moriste hace 10 años. So the person immediately cut the communication. So I do the same. No, es Elda. Ajá, Elda Sánchez. Sí, sí, Elda Sánchez, ¿cómo está? Mire, ¿cómo está el bufete? Ah, no, todo bien, esto, el otro. Mira, pero yo no sabía que en el infierno había bufete porque tú te moriste hace 2 años. So I usually do things like that with those people. So they immediately disappear and immediately I block and report the number. In Venezuela, it is very common. But here in my Ecuadorian number, I get phone calls from Afghanistan, from Pakistan. I never take those phone calls. I only take phone calls from the USA, Canada, and the countries where my friends are. Okay, like Mongolia, Hong Kong, USA, France, Spain, Portugal, Argentina, Chile, Colombia. But
I
I
got
don't
only
take,
messages.
yes, I
And the
don't take
messages you get a code.
from
You say,
Afghanistan.
send me the code, send me the code, send me the code.
Yeah. So
Like,
I
well,
usually
I blocked.
I usually take that phone calls only. Okay. And when they call me by any reason, they usually send me a message through the WhatsApp. Mira, te voy a llamar mañana a las 8 de la noche, hora Ecuador. ¿Será que me puedes atender? Sí, sí, cómo no. Especially the ones who live in Europe, because the time is different. So when we want to communicate with some of our friends somewhere else, we usually tell them, hey, mira, Pedro, mira, Joaquín, tú que estás en España, Joaquín, necesito hablar contigo. ¿Será que te puedo llamar a las 2 de la mañana, hora Ecuador, que allá ya es amaneciendo? Sí, sí, cómo no, llámame. So likewise. Joaquín calls me, mira, les necesito consultarte algo. ¿Será que te llamo como a las 9 de la noche? Hora Ecuador, que aquí es de madrugada. Sí, sí, cómo no, llámame. So if I see a phone number from Spain or Portugal, it is him. So that's the best way to avoid being scammed or be conned. So when we talk about the third conditional, okay, it says third conditional in English. If in past perfect, the condition would, could, should have, plus the past participle. For example, if you had studied harder, you would have passed the exam. If I had known you were visiting, I would have ordered food. If you had called me earlier, I could have helped you. If he had taken the job, he would have moved to another city. If they had saved more money, they could have gone on vacation. So we're talking about unreal things in the past, unreal circumstances, unreal consequences. Okay? Then we have a comparison of the third conditional with the first and the second conditional. And it says, the zero conditional talk about general truths or facts. First conditional, real possibilities in the present or future. Second conditional, hypothetical possibilities or no possibility in the present or future. And the third conditional helps talk about hypothetical situations in the past that cannot be changed on real past. So in this first example, I didn't know they came. So I didn't order food. In the second one, you didn't call me, so I didn't help you. In the third case, he didn't take the job offered, so he didn't move. In the fourth sentence, they didn't save any money, so it was impossible for them to go on vacation. So the third conditional always talks about things that didn't happen. So we're not talking about hypothetical or things that there is a possibility for it to happen, but things that didn't happen at all. Okay, that's the third conditional meaning. No problems with the first condition, with the third conditional?
No, not yet. I have to check the exercises.
Okay. So let's do some exercises with the third conditional before to get here. The mixed condition. This is a real mess because it changes completely. We combine the conditionals, third with second and second with third, to give a different meaning. Okay, so let's first get to some exercises with the third conditional. Okay, give me a second. Let me open it. Okay, let's go to the grammar exercises because the meaning is easy gotten. You talk about something that didn't happen in the past. Okay, so let me share with you and let's do some exercises with the third conditional. Okay, so if you had trained more, you
wouldn't have lost.
you wouldn't have lost. Okay, so you didn't train, so you didn't you didn't do anything. Number two, we wouldn't have spent all the money if you on going to that boutique.
If you hadn't insisted,
Hadn't insisted. If you had told me that you were having problems, I
could have helped you.
I could have helped you. If
Could have,
that she was in town, I would have called her.
If I had known,
If I had known, I would have called her. If she had offered a better price for the car, I
I might have both.
I might
Might
have
have.
voted. I
Might
might
have
have
voted.
voted. There would have been so many problems if they raise a bit better.
Had organized
Had organized
a bit better.
the race a bit better. We lost if you had asked for directions.
We wouldn't have got.
We would never have met if you asked to each other at that party.
If you let me see the option. Let me see the option. If you hadn't introduced us to each other.
Okay, give me a second. If you hadn't introduced us to each other at that party. If she had embarrassed me in front of all my friends, I
would have hated her
I would have hated her forever. 10. Her life if I had paid more attention.
I could have saved.
I could have saved her life if I had paid more attention. Sad. Okay, no problem. Exercise number 2. You, me, we have 2 correct options. You, me, you had gone to the party. Which one are the 2 options?
You might have.
Might have seen and
You would have seen.
might have seen and would have seen. Okay. Number 2. What would you have done if I
Hadn't come.
hadn't come? They, him, if I, them the money.
Have killed.
Letter A,
A.
letter B, or letter C?
B. Would have
Okay.
killed.
Number 4.
I could have got.
Number 5. If I,
I wouldn't have worked.
okay. Number 6, 2 correct options.
I have been really well. I might order the steak.
Could have ordered or might have ordered.
I
Might
have ordered.
and could.
I said,
If
yes.
I know you were going, I
I had come. No, I would have gone.
if I had known, would have come. Number 8,
Wouldn't have passed.
couldn't have passed. Number 9, if I
If I had told you, had, it, had,
had
it,
told.
had told.
Number 10, he, the accident, if he hadn't drunk.
They wouldn't have had.
Wouldn't have had. Okay, let's check.
How many? Nine.
Okay,
One
let's
is
see which
incorrect.
one. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. If I hadn't worked so hard, I might have spent more time with my kids.
Okay.
Because this is the if. If in past perfect. The other one with the things. The other are okay. Let's go to number 3. I'm checking. Have you had problems with the power, with the electricity?
In this week, no. All
Have
the
you had-
city, yes.
Have
All
you
the
had
city,
problems?
yes, but in this neighborhood, never we have been cut the energy since it started. Never. Maybe
Never.
because
We
we
had
are very close to the Contraloría. Contraloría building is here around the corner. We have the offices of the company, the electricity company is in the next corner. We have hospital, and next we have 3 or 4 private.
Yes, I'm
clinics.
trying to find out when I'm not going to have. Okay, 2 to 4. I won't have electricity from 2 to 4. De las
And this-
14 a las
this-
16.
In this block, we have never been cut.
Yes, because I'm in a, the subestación is called Pomaski. Okay. So according to this, Pomaski won't have electricity service from 2 to 4. Yesterday, I didn't have electricity from 2 to 5.
But
And
there's
today
another
apparently it's
thing.
2 to 4.
Electricity is not going here. We have
You have
electricity,
electricity the whole
but
time.
all the service, internet, cable, and the other services is cut. This is
Oh, yes. And
Yeah.
here, last week, I didn't have any interruption in the service. But yesterday, for the first time, very first time, we have the interruption. It was supposed to be from 12 to 6, from 2 to 6, and it was from 2 to 5. Today is supposed to be from 2 to 4. So let's see.
Mhm.
Fill the gaps. If we, the money, we go. If we
We had the money.
had or had had,
It's yeah. We have had
had the money, we
have the money. We would have gone.
gone. We would have gone. Okay, because they say make the sentences with would. If you were coming.
Yeah, okay. I would have tidied up. Tidy the
Would
house.
have
Tidy
tidied
the house up. Or
up
tidy up the house.
the house if
I had known
that you were
that
coming.
you were coming.
Number 3, some snacks if you tell us about the picnic.
We have brought
some snacks if you
have told us
had told us about the picnic. Obviously, my parents not meet, I not be born.
parents wouldn't have met.
If if in past perfect or if in modal past.
Parents had no. Required words.
If my parents hadn't met, because it's not meet. If my parents hadn't met, I
would.
I wouldn't
Been. Wouldn't have been.
have been born. If my parents hadn't met, I wouldn't have been born. If he invests in that business, he lose everything.
If he hadn't invested.
Sorry. If he had
invested
in that business, he
would have
would have lost everything. If the police not nearby, there are many more victims. If the police
hadn't been
hadn't hadn't been nearby, there
There would have been
would have been
many more victims.
would have been many more victims. What you do if you be in that situation? What
You have done
What would you have done if you
if you were
if you
you
were
had if you
Mhm.
had if you had been
in that situation? The police not catch him if he not make that little mistake. The police
wouldn't have thought
wouldn't have sorry wouldn't have caught him if
Yeah.
he
if he hadn't made that little mistake.
that little mistake. Number 9, if I know there was a party, I wear something nicer. If I
If I have had known
known, if I
known
had
there was a
known there was a
party,
party, I
I would have worn
would have worn something nicer. Number 10, it is here if you what I needed to do.
it would have been easier
It would have been easier if you
if you had told me
had told me what I needed to do. Okay, 9 out of 10, I should be, if my parents hadn't, okay, my mistake, hadn't met. If my parents hadn't met, I wouldn't have been born. I forgot the born. I wouldn't have been born. I forgot to write born. Okay, I wrote, obviously, if my parents hadn't met, I wouldn't have been. But there was no born. I forgot to write born. Okay, the others are okay. One more exercise. Let me get one more, please. Third conditional. Mixed conditional, third conditional exercises. Okay. This is the way it can be in a test, okay? There are 10 questions in this quiz. Which words cannot go in the space? We have won the game if we had played a little better. Which one cannot be there? Might, would, or can?
can.
Can. Correct. Okay. We use it to a condition about past events. Okay, so event A, event B, da, 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 da. Besides, we cannot use can in past tense. Okay, next. If the weather better, we could have gone to the beach. If the weather, here is the correct.
I have to choose that better. If the word had been.
Had been. Correct. I lost Jennifer's number, so I couldn't call her. How do you say that with the conditional? If I had lost Jennifer's number, I could have called her. If I hadn't lost Jennifer's number, I could have called her. If I hadn't lost Jennifer's number, I couldn't have called her. Use logics.
Number 2, I had lost.
Correct. If I hadn't lost Jennifer's number, I could have called her. I didn't lose the number, so I could call her. Which words, if I visited him?
Mm, This is difficult. Let me figure it out.
It's not so difficult.
If I had time, I would have used it.
Yes, if I
Would.
had time, I would have visited him. If in past perfect, the other one we would here. If I would have had, would have, no. So the only option is if in past perfect, if I had. I might have bought the table if it had been a bit smaller, it would be a bit smaller. It might have been a bit smaller.
Bought the table if hey, it had been a bit smaller.
Drive. I all that way to the castle. I'd know it was closed. I with the verb drive.
I have
I all that way to the castle if I had known it was closed.
I have driven all the way.
If I had known. I had driven all that way to the castle if I had known. No, I hadn't driven.
Hadn't driving or driven?
I said driving. That's your answer?
Yeah. I hadn't driven.
Incorrect.
Oh.
If in past perfect, the other one, I wouldn't have driven. You're asking past perfect, past perfect.
I wouldn't.
It's modal past, past perfect. I wouldn't have driven all that way to the castle if I had known it was closed. Remember, if in past perfect, the other sentence with the conditional in past. Would have, could have, etc. I'm sure Sarah, her grandmother, more often if she had known she was so ill.
Perfect. Would have visited.
Would have visited. Okay. Correct. Keith, if Keith were careful, he wouldn't have had an accident. With the verb to be, if Keith
It had been
Correct. The document, if I had known you needed them. Throw away. Dispose. Desechei.
I wouldn't have thrown.
Sorry. I wouldn't have thrown
thrown
away
away.
the documents
Mm.
if I had known you needed them. Okay, correct. And the last one, if you for direction, we wouldn't have got lost.
If you had asked,
Had asked. Correct. Okay. Good. Nevertheless, tomorrow we'll keep on practicing third conditional before getting into mixed conditionals. Okay. I would like to try the mixed conditional after the holidays instead. Let's see.
After the holiday.
Okay. Yes, after the holiday, better. Okay, so have a nice day. See you tomorrow, Guillermo.
Okay, Mr.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.